Hi, I'm Dick Mills. One of the challenges we have in terms of working on mechanics is finding drills that we can do to fix the specific problems that we have. And one of the areas that I really love to work on is drills. So I'm going to take you through a series of drills that you can do that are going to really help to fix your mechanics. You can do these, during the off season, during the season. As a coach, you can make it a lot more interesting for your pitchers. You can send them over against a fence and just have them do these drills on their own or in a group. I encourage you to do these on a regular basis. The more that you can drill and make this natural, then the better opportunity you're going to have to build that strong foundation in mechanics. So we're going to go through a series of probably about a dozen drills here that you can do to really fix your mechanics. The first thing I want to talk about is one of the most important aspects of pitching, and that's good arm action. Whenever a scout is watching a pitcher, he's focusing in on that pitcher's arm action. So I'd encourage you to do a lot of arm action drills. And the first thing we're going to do is you can just get yourself and get a partner with you and just simply sit down, get your glove, and all you want to do is just work on throwing the baseball. And all you're trying to do is work on nice arm action, nice and loose, okay? So all you have to do is just get yourself in a sitting position. You've got a partner down here about 20 or 25 feet, and then just go ahead and just throw the ball, rotating your upper body and good arm action. And just go ahead and throw the baseball, and just throw the baseball. Then you can graduate to kneeling position, and now you've got your partner, and you can do the same thing. And again, you're working on good upper body rotation and good arm action. Nice and loose. Keep your arm nice and loose, and just throw the baseball. Then you can work to stand up, and now when you're standing up, it's going to be basically the same thing. Just get yourself feet, spread, about shoulder width apart, and then just go ahead and just throw the baseball. What you can do initially is go ahead and just, freeze your feet. Don't be moving your feet, don't be lifting your heels. Just work on upper body rotation and good arm action. And then just simply work on throwing the baseball. Okay, then you can go ahead and start getting some movement into it, where you can get your weight on your balls of your feet, and then boom, right there. Okay, same thing. Okay, then the drill that everybody knows about, and that's the one getting on one knee. Now you can work on a series of things, and you'll see a lot of high school players, a lot of college players will do this drill. And what you can be working on is you can be working on keeping your shoulder lined up when you're throwing. Okay, you can be working on getting out over this front knee, and again, you're working on good loose arm action. Okay, right to your partner. Okay, there we go. And one more. Okay, good. Okay, now, the next drill we're going to work on is we're going to talk about your balance. Okay, obviously balance is one of the most important things in a pitcher's delivery, so that's what we're going to work on right now. A couple of drills you can do to make sure the pitcher's staying balanced, to make sure he's keeping the weight over the ball of his foot. The other thing is to make sure that he doesn't get this foot too far out away from his knee. Ideally, to have good balance and to have good lead leg action, and what I mean by good lead leg action, so that this leg is moving out on that track that we talk about, that midline track. We want to make sure that before we start forward, if the pitcher gets the foot out beyond the knee, he's got to make sure before he starts forward that he gets it in. Then he can move along that line. So the first thing I'm going to recommend you do, if you have a pitcher who's getting, when he goes to balance point, if he tends to get his weight on his heel, then what you can do is put something under his heel so he can feel the weight on the ball of his foot, and simply just have him go to balance point. Now the weight's on the ball of his foot. Now he knows how it feels to move out all the way to his landing with his weight on the ball of his foot. Simply have him go to balance. Now he's not going to be shifted back here. Thing you want to be aware of, make sure pitchers, the top of their leg lift, watch that they're not back like this. If you see their back is arched right here, you know they're going to have a problem when they get out to landing. Get something under their foot. It could be a towel. Here's a little 3-pound dumbbell you could use. Just put it right here, just so that that pitcher knows what it feels like to have the weight on the ball of his foot, and just have him go to balance. Okay? Notice where my chin is. My chin stays over my belt buckle, always. I'm not back this way. If a guy has his weight on his heel, you're going to notice he's in this position right here. He may be balanced, but he's going to have a problem when he moves out to his landing. So just have him drill with something under his foot. It could be a 2x4, a towel, anything. You don't want to use a baseball because he's going to really get out of balance, but simply have him work, hitting his balance point, holding, 1, 2, 3, forward. Okay? Let him get to balance and hold right there. He feels that weight. Then just kick the weight out of there. Okay? And then have him work without the weight or without the towel under his heel. Then he's going to have it down. Now the other thing you can do is, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen the old chair drill. This is something, again, you can do it out in the field, have a chair out in the field, in the bullpen, in the middle of your living room, the garage, it doesn't matter. The same thing, okay? Now what we want to do is start right here, make sure the pitcher's got the weight on the ball of his foot, okay? He lifts to this position, and now it's simply, he goes down and he goes forward, okay, with good balance. Okay, start right there, okay? And now it's simply down and out. If you've got a pitcher that's got a high leg lift, and my son Ryan, being a 6'5" lefty, he lifts his knee up fairly high. It comes up probably about like that. So, you know, Ryan's got one of these chairs in his room, just like this. And what he does, he puts his foot up here, keeps the weight on the ball of his foot. He wants to make sure that, you know, the heel is under your knee, okay? And then you just work from this position and down and out. Then you know he's going to have good balance, you know, throughout his delivery. So just go ahead and make sure that, you know, you'll have a pitcher who is so intent on getting a high leg lift, that leg kicks out too far. Just have him work on this, where it becomes natural. The foot stays under the knee. Okay? Now, go ahead and throw. Ryan's got about 6 Nerf balls in his apartment down at ASU. And he's got a chair, he's got all the props, and he's got a mirror at the end of his room. And he's doing all this stuff, throwing those Nerf balls, those sponge balls, into the mirror. And then all he does, he takes the drills from his room out to the bullpen. And what we're talking about here, guys, is building muscle memory. You've got to be able to take the drills into the bullpen and make it real. So once you're done with, you've worked with the chair, then put the chair aside and now work getting up to balance, okay? Hold it, 1, 2, 3, and then go and throw. This is a real important part of your delivery. I would recommend that you have anybody that has a problem with balance, get them with the chair and just have them do it over and over and over, and they're going to have good balance throughout their delivery. Okay, now as you know, good body alignment going toward the plate is so important. So one of the things we need to continuously do is monitor our step moving out to our landing. So what you can do is, what a pitcher can do is he can get himself along the foul line. He can work out in the outfield. Right here we're on the warning track. And simply work, make this your midline, and all you have to do is work along this line. And what you want to do is train this lead foot to move out and land in a good closed position. Okay? You want to lead this foot along this line so that when you land, you're right here in this position. And if you can work along, you know, a line like this, you've got a good reference point, and then all you want to do is just simply work and just glide forward and get to a good landing. So we're in a good closed position. And just get out there like that. And then you can work from the balance step, glide out, and get to a good landing position. You can also use the chair the same way, so that when you and now we're going to be working on good, lead leg action, you can go ahead and have the chair right here, and then go ahead and just let the leg down. We want the leg to go down. We want to keep our weight back, and we're going to go down, and we're going to glide out right along that line. So the leg's here, now we're going to let it down, and we're going to go along that line. Good body alignment is so important in terms of getting ready to throw the ball. Now, next we're going to work on good weight transfer. And weight transfer is one of the most least understood areas of the delivery. So many coaches don't really understand it, and so many pitchers have a tough time getting it. What you want to understand is that you want to transfer your weight to your posting leg. All your weight wants to stay right here. We want to keep our weight back as long as we can, and that happens when this lead foot starts down. We get some knee flexion right here. So what you want to do is just spread your feet apart right here, and all you're going to do is work, and you can work in a mirror if you want, or work with your coach and just work in this position, and all you're going to do is go ahead and load up just like this, okay? We're going to load up, and we got our weight back just like this, okay? There's the loaded up position right there. Now we can throw from a good power position. You can't throw from a good power position when you're out here. So have your pitcher work loading up, okay? When the arm goes back, the weight goes back. When the arm goes back, the weight goes back. So important in pitching. Just remember, you can always remember that transferring your weight, you simply want to remember that when this leg starts down, the weight stays back. This goes down, the weight stays back, and now you're leading with the side of your shoe, and you can work this right along this line. There's so many drills you can just continue to do from one spot. And all of a sudden, you've educated your body in what to do during every phase of the delivery. I encourage you to work on good weight transfer. This is one of the most important things in terms of throwing the ball hard. This is something, when you understand about how to get the weight back, okay, right there, okay, transfer the weight back, this is when pitchers can start throwing that extra 3 to 5 miles an hour harder. Okay, and going along and speaking a little bit more about weight transfer, I'm going to show you a drill right now that I picked up from a video that I watched. It was by Jeff Zahn. Just an outstanding video. And he really explained this really well so that especially, the young kids can learn it. And get yourself or get your pitcher a lightweight. This is a 3-pound dumbbell. If you've got a younger kid, a 10, 11, or 12-year-old, get something maybe, like a pound. And what you can do is just get your pitcher to get his weight back on the ball of his foot, get the weight here in front of him, and this is all he's going to do is he's going to work down, back, and up, just like this, okay? Down, back, and up. Now we got some good arm action going, and we're transferring the weight, okay? As the arm goes back, the weight goes back. You see how my weight is transferring back on the ball of my foot? I've got all my weight over this leg right now. Now, how does that happen? Again, it happens because I get a little bit of knee flexion. Don't confuse this with, we talk about staying tall in the delivery. We do stay tall in the delivery until we get down around this point. Then we got to get some knee flexion. So at the point of transferring our weight back, we've got to get a little bit of knee flexion. So here's a great drill that you can do. Just have your pitcher nice, free, and easy. Okay, when the arm goes back, the weight goes back. When the arm goes back, the weight goes back. Now the next thing you can do from that drill is you can work forward and arm goes back, weight goes back, then what you want to do is the next step is teach the pitcher that he's going to be in this position when he's going to go to ball release, okay? So you can have him continue on. And Jeff Zahn calls this the figure 8 drill, and it's a great drill. Okay, when the arm goes back, the weight goes back, you go forward, turn, down, and back. Forward, turn, down, and back. Now let me show you that from the front. Remember, we're working on weight transfer, we're working on good arm action, and having our body in the right position. The arm goes back, the weight goes back. Down, back, and up. Forward, turn, down, back, and up. Forward, turn, down, back, and up. Forward, turn. What a great drill. This is something, I think it's probably the best way to teach any kid what good weight transfer is, okay? Shift the weight back as the arm goes back. Ball goes back, arm goes back, weight goes back, okay? And then simply over and over. Then go ahead and get him out, put the glove on him. Just put the glove on him with a baseball. Say, okay, same thing. Just working from this position, okay? Ball out of the glove, just like this, and then have him throw the ball into the screen. Just like this, throw into the screen. Then you're teaching good weight transfer and having the body in the right position. It's very important that we understand that one of the positions we need to be in when we come forward, we want to be squared off to the plate like this. We're squared off to the plate. Our chest is going to be out. Our weight is still going to be back behind, this front knee. We don't want to be, we're not going to be out here, we're going to be back behind the front knee. Then we know we have some residual weight left, so that when we go to release, we got some power. Okay, now let's talk about good lead arm action. And again, we're going to work from the high cock position, okay? Good lead arm action, okay, is we're going to be pulling that glove in, and we simply want to get up in the high cock position and pull the glove in. A lot of pitchers have a problem with lead arm action. So what you can do is have them drill, okay, pulling the glove in and just throwing against the fence. Repetition. For some reason, pitchers think that they can generate velocity by whipping the glove back here, and all it does is get them out of balance. So what you can do is teach that pitcher to play catch, and he can play catch with his glove right here, okay? Just have him play catch with his partner, holding the glove right there. If he's flailing his glove back behind him, obviously there's no way in the world he's going to be ready for that line drive that comes back. And I can tell you, if you're not ready when that ball's coming back, it can be real dangerous. And you probably heard about my son Ryan, who in his first college start was hit in the face with a line drive after 5 pitches. He lost almost his entire freshman year. I don't think Ryan could have got his glove up no matter where his glove was positioned, but Ryan had a habit of pulling his glove and getting it out here like this. He generates a lot of arm speed, but he was pulling back like this. Watch guys like Maddox, John Schmaltz, Glavine. They keep that glove right in here. So if you've got a pitcher that tends to flail the glove back here, then start him with the glove right here at the chest. And just have him play catch with his partner just like this. He'll find out that he's going to have better balance, that glove going back doesn't provide any more power, and he's going to be in a better position if that ball's hit back to him. The other thing you can do for lead arm action, I said before, get a wristband. You can get a red wristband or something and put it right here. And your pitcher can line himself up, sighting down right here to the plate. So when he gets that arm up, okay, use that lead arm up, he's sighting right down there, and then he pulls the glove in. So work on good lead arm action. It's going to help you protect yourself, and it's going to keep you balanced better as you go toward release. Okay, one of the areas that a lot of young pitchers have a problem with, and I see it all the way going up through college, is really making sure that they're throwing out over this landing knee. And you want to make sure that you're getting the head and the shoulder out over that landing knee. Again, grab a chair and simply get the pitcher in a position. All he does is get his foot up on the chair, and I'll show you from the side. He just gets his foot on the chair, and all he has to do is get out here, and he's going to feel what it's like to throw over that lead knee, and all he has to do is roll the ankle over and throw. Get himself out a little bit further, okay? Roll the ankle over and throw. And he can just do that, and then he knows what it's like to get his head and his throwing shoulder out over that lead knee. That's a great drill. Now, let's talk about what you all want to know more about, and it's that hip and trunk rotation thing. You know, making sure that the foot is coming off the rubber before the pitcher goes to ball release. Keep hearing it over and over and over. Push off the rubber. How many times do we hear that? You go to a Little League game, and if you're around there at a practice or if you're around there at a ball game long enough, you'll hear that a bunch of times in the course of a season. Push off the rubber, okay? Bend your back. You know, all that stuff. And I don't know what that stuff means, but pushing off the rubber doesn't happen. But rotating your hips, pulling off the rubber, happens. Looking back at myself, I always did that, but I didn't know that I was doing it. It's something that I always did, and it was part of my delivery. It was kind of natural. But I first really learned about hip and trunk rotation from Bill Thurston. And, you know, when I wrote the book, The Ultimate Pitching Weapon, I was talking to Bill, and Bill was really enlightening me on pitching mechanics. And I can't thank him enough for doing that. I've learned a lot from him. And I've learned a lot from other coaches as well. And I'll continue to learn more and more. And I don't think I'll ever learn everything there is to know about pitching. And you've got to work from that standpoint if you really want to be a good pitcher. You'll never know it all. So listen and keep your ears open. Now, as far as hip and trunk rotation goes, one of the things you can do, you remember that drag line that you draw in front of the rubber. Well, go ahead and put something. It can be a brick, it can be a can right here. Just put it right there in front of the pitcher's foot. Now what you're working on is, you're working on making sure that when he comes forward, he rolls the ankle over. Let's get it up here just a little bit. We don't want to have it too challenging. So what you want to do is get that brick or whatever you're going to be using and put it up here in front of his foot, and then just have him work on, get his foot spread out, get him against a screen, and simply work on getting the ankle rolled over and then exploding forward. So let's just try it here a little bit, and let's see how I do on this. Okay, we're going to get ourselves, we're going to load up with a ball. Let me grab a ball here, come out of the screen for a second. And then let's go ahead and just throw the ball right into that screen. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on mentally thinking about taking the back hip and getting the back hip around to the front. The quicker we can get that back hip around to the front, and we're going to get that back foot off the rubber coming forward. So let's give it a try. Okay, I'm going to throw right into the screen. Okay, it's going to be right here. Okay, we're going to lead forward. We're going to pull. Okay, try it again. Get this up here a little bit. Roll the ankle over. Okay, good. Now, you get that thing up, get it out here right about here. Now we got a little more of a challenge. Thanks, John. One more. Okay. Now let's see what happens. Okay. Now the same thing. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw. We're going to go forward, pull the back hip around to the front. Okay? Okay, let's try it again. Ready? Okay. That's a great drill. You're going to be knocking that can over, and every time you knock it over, you're going to be able to remind yourself, or the brick or whatever it is, you have a brick there, you're going to be hitting it. Just going to be a reminder that you want to get that back hip around to the front a little bit quicker. Okay, now, here's another drill that I learned from Bill Thurston. And if you don't have Bill Thurston's book, I would encourage you to get it, because it's one of the best books I've ever seen on pitching. It's not bedtime reading, but if you happen to be a coach, a dad, and if you're a pitcher who's really into the technicalities of pitching, Bill's book is, without a doubt, the very best I've seen. Give me a call and I'll get the book for you. Here's a drill I learned from Bill. A lot of pitchers have a problem with, they brace up their lead knee too early. So they get to landing and, you know, they're up here like this, and they tend to have a recoil action. If you see a pitcher who's recoiling, you know, right here and then coming back, he's bracing up that lead knee too soon. A drill that you can use, and this drill is very taxing, by the way, you got to be in shape to do this drill. The way it works, you start down, I'll do it from both angles, but you start down here, and what you're going to do is you're going to throw to your partner, and you're going to come up and over and throw up and over this lead knee. So you're going to start here, and it's going to be like this. And I'll tell you what, you do about 12 repetitions of that, and your legs are going to be crying. But it's simply going to be throw up and over, just like that. And you're really working on using your body to get up and over that lead knee. Okay, so it looks like this from the side. And this is a tough drill to do. Okay, you're going to throw just like that. You got a guy who's prematurely bracing up that lead knee, and get him so he can feel that, and have him do that about 25 times a day. And in about 5 days, he'll be so exhausted he'll never forget how to do that, believe me. Okay, what we're trying to do here with these drills, obviously, is build what I call rock-solid mechanics. We had the opportunity a couple of years ago, during my son's senior year of high school, to go over to California, and Ryan was selected to play in the Goodwill Series. And we were staying at the Ramada Inn right there in Long Beach, not too far from the ball field. And it was going to be the USA team against the Japanese and the Koreans. Well, Jeannie and I were staying, my wife and I were staying at the hotel, and one night about 11 o'clock, I think it was the first night we were over there, the game was the next day, we heard a little bit of talking in the parking lot, and I looked at my watch, 11 o'clock, you know, what's going on. So I walked out on the balcony at the hotel, and I looked down, and I saw the entire Korean national team out in the parking lot. And what were they doing out there at 11 o'clock? Well, the hitters were going through the hitting motion, and I noticed that the pitchers were going through a slow motion with their mechanics, you know, going right through the delivery. And they were out there until about 12 o'clock. And then the next morning, we got up and we went to breakfast, and we were going to drive over the field. We're driving over to the field, and who was right ahead of us running to the field but the Korean national team, running in formation about a mile to the ball field in the uniforms. Well, if you want to be good, it takes work. And we lost to the Koreans, and we lost to the Japanese. They had a great ball club, but they didn't make many mistakes, and I think it had to do with their intensity, their willingness to do that little extra. And I remembered back on that slow motion drill that I saw, and I used to see them do that at the ball field. So what I'm going to recommend you do is, you really want to build your mechanics. As a pitcher, get yourself in front of a mirror and just work slow motion going through your entire delivery. And you can check yourself at each point in the delivery. For a coach, I encourage you to get your pitchers. If you got a pitcher who's having a problem with control or whatever, then teach him the mechanics step by step. Then you can show him what he's supposed to be doing and have him go through the mechanics in slow motion so that he understands it and so that you know that he understands it. So simply go through your delivery in slow motion, okay? Your start step, okay, we're right there, keeping the weight over the ball of our foot, nice short start step, getting in good position in front of the rubber, lifting our leg up, getting to balance, breaking our hands, good lead leg action, moving forward, getting up to the high cock position, good landing, and then right through. Then you can go ahead and point out some things that pitcher's doing. He needs to know what he's supposed to be doing from the first part of his delivery until the end. And I'd encourage you to just simply work on good slow motion mechanics. Lift the leg up, okay, get to balance, leg starts down, arm goes up, good lead leg action, good weight transfer back here, forward, and then to release. If you work that, I see pitchers out, shagging flies all the time. They can be out there shagging flies while they're building the mechanics right there. Nice slow motion. That's how you become a better pitcher. Now the other thing you can do that we haven't talked much about, it's all been about mechanics, but there's so much to pitching in terms of the mental part of the game. I always recommend 5 minutes a day. Do the drills for 5 minutes a day. Pick a drill and work it for 5 minutes a day, whether it's in front of the mirror, in the middle of your living room, using a chair, using the props that I just showed you, but 5 minutes a day. Then what I'd recommend you do is get yourself into a quiet place, whether it's in your room, in the living room, in the garage, the basement. Get away from everybody and go down in that area. And what I'm going to suggest you do is take yourself through the delivery while you're pitching to a hitter. In other words, you're pitching to an imaginary hitter. Close your eyes and visualize what that's going to look like. Put yourself in game situations. If it's during the off season, you can be working on your game in the off season so that when next spring comes, you're going to be ready to go out there. You're going to be game ready to go out there. So get yourself a portable pitcher's rubber. Think about the team that you're going to be playing, the ballpark where you're going to be playing. There are people in the stands, whether it's your parents, your schoolmates. There's an umpire behind the plate, and there's that hitter that you know stepping in. And see yourself pitching to that hitter. Close your eyes and take yourself right through the delivery, okay? And see yourself pitching to that hitter. And I'm going to encourage you to go through and see yourself getting out of bad situations, getting into bad situations, and then getting out of them. We don't always pitch a perfect game. We don't strike everybody out. Mentally prepare yourself for the next ball game by doing this. Now, if you can stand up and do this and take yourself through your delivery just like you're pitching, that's great. You can go sit down against a wall. What I used to like to do before a ball game was, if I was going to pitch that ball game, I'd get to the ballpark early, and I would go out and I'd get myself down, way down in the outfield, and I'd sit down there, and I'd start thinking about that ball game, the way I wanted that ball game to turn out. There are a lot of Major League pitchers that do that right now. Pitch 5 innings a week, just like that. Eyes closed, watching yourself go through your delivery. See yourself having those good mechanics. If you can pitch 5 innings a week, that's 20 innings a month. If it happens to be off season, you might be able to pitch 60 innings, 100 innings. Can you imagine if you pitch that many innings in your mind, how that's going to turn out for you? We all want to be great pitchers, and we think that pitching is about going out and just playing catch or throwing bullpens. There's so much more to it. If you will spend the time working on the mental aspect of the game, becoming stronger mentally, and put those two phases of the pitching together, then you're going to see yourself as a top pitcher down the road. The mental aspect is more important than the physical once you get to a certain point in your baseball career. When you get to that high level, the difference is the mental. You get up into, if you're lucky enough to get to pro ball, there are a lot of guys up there with great arms. But there aren't so many guys up there that have it together between their ears. And that's what I encourage you to work on. So work the visualization drill. Do the 5 innings a week in your mind. And see if you can pitch the 20 innings a month minimum. And see what happens to you when the season starts. Or see what happens to you during your next start. If you can pitch 5 innings this week and you're going to be pitching in a ball game next week, imagine how much stronger you're going to be when you walk out there on the mound. So I encourage you to work these drills 5 minutes a day, and if you do it, you're going to build a strong foundation mechanically and then doing the visualization drill mentally. Good luck.